What's going on, y'all? Thanks for checking in the Khaliis Take. You know what to do. Hit that like, subscribe button. Also hit that notification bell just so you can get the newest and the bonus content first. But hey, let's just go ahead and jump right in. Looks like the Lakers want to try to make some moves here in the offseason. And it looks like they want to make some pretty big splash moves, or the biggest moves they can make. Now, just reading some reports here in regards to the Lakers. Seems like them and the 76ers have some type of mutual interest, or there's some type of interest there, I would say, because the Lakers are looking into possibly, acquiring Matisse Thybulle. They definitely, want to try to get Matisse Thybulle on the Lakers if they can. And I will say this, that will definitely help them in the biggest area they have a flaw in. And that's their defense. Their defense is horrible. Their defense is atrocious. I don't think their defense is even worth talking about. That's how bad it is. And, somebody like Matisse Thybulle would definitely help their cause in that situation. This dude is an all-world defender. Every time I've seen him on the court, every time I look at 76ers games, this dude makes an impact defensively. He will knock down a shot at times. He only scores about 6 points a game with a couple rebounds, but his impact on the defensive end is exactly what the Lakers are missing, because when you can't stop anybody, it doesn't help that you can score. Even though you can score a bunch of points, if you can't stop nobody on the defensive end, you still lose a lot of games and you still can't win championships that way. So, there has to be a level of respectable defense for a team to achieve their ultimate goal, which is possibly winning a championship. And the Lakers are far from that because, their main guy, supposedly Anthony Davis, stays hurt a lot. Their number one guy in reality, which is LeBron James, is getting old as hell. And, Russell Westbrook is still trying to find his way. So with that being said, your top 375, your top three players, or top players on the team, or the three of the top 75 players on your team, they do their thing, but at the same time, or they have the ability to do their thing, but it doesn't equate to winning. And winning basketball is attributed to playing defense. And I can tell you, the Lakers will be going in a very good direction if they're able to get somebody like Matisse Thybulle, because not saying he'll fix all their defensive issues, but he'll definitely fix some of them, because he's really good on defense, and he really, really can, change a game, the outlook of a game at times, because of his defensive prowess and how good he is on defense and how much pressure he puts on the opposing team. And I definitely like what he brings. And he does shoot 50% from the field. So, he does take, high quality shots, which is more shots closer to the rim. He's not taking too many jumpers, not trying to do nothing out of his element. And those are the type players you want to have if you're trying to win. You want to be around players, have players in the locker room that stay within their element, do what they do best, and help the team, not hurt the team. And he's one of those players who would, and he's definitely a good locker room guy, seemed like that. Definitely a guy from overseas who appreciates his opportunity for playing in the NBA here in the United States. And, we definitely appreciate what he does on defense, because, honestly, without his defense, Philadelphia wouldn't have been as good as they were, without his defense, even though he can't score like that. But to say that you have a guy on your roster where you can say, hey, I want you to guard the other team's best player, and that's your assignment this whole game, or hey, that's your assignment this whole playoff series. That's a hell of an option to have. That's a really good option to have. And this is the reason why I said the Lakers should give up whatever they need, to get Matisse Thybulle. His contract is only about like $4.3 million. Very, very minimal contract, very affordable, very likely they can get this acquisition. If they want to win, they definitely need to start putting the pieces together and putting the right pieces, together with the puzzle and get it, filtered out, because, they don't want to go through another season as they did last year and come up short and look like an embarrassing team that shouldn't even be a part of the NBA and look like a minor league team the way they did in a lot of those games. So, going after somebody like him would definitely help. Like I said, the contract is not big at all, very affordable. And I think, he's about out with the 76ers in regards to, the team itself. And as I talked about the other day, they also, Danny Green is another one, a name that's out there as well. So, if they have to get rid of, Stanley Johnson, Reeves, or whoever the case may be, whoever on the bench, or, to acquire somebody like that. That's what you do. You do what you got to do. You see what I'm saying? Because at this point, the Lakers should feel desperate, and they are desperate because, like I said, after last year debacle and, coming up short the way they did, I mean, Lakers fans definitely can't be happy with what they saw, and neither can the Lakers as a team. You definitely can't be happy with what you put out there, because it just wasn't good enough in regards to winning, and it really just made the team look so bad that they couldn't even make the play-in tournament with 3 top 75 players. So, I mean, it's going to have to really start with the defense. Of course, it always usually starts with health. You want to be healthy. That's the main thing. But at the same time, there was a lot of games where they did play together and they still didn't, perform well. So, I mean, defense is going to have to be a staple. And I definitely think Darvin Ham is implementing that to the office and everybody, front office and everybody now, if they want to be a good team, because really that's the only way. You see what I'm saying? So we'll see what happens with this trade and see if it actually goes through. But if I were the Lakers, I definitely would, not turn my back towards it. I definitely would do my best, everything in my power, to get Matisse Thybulle, because he's one of those type players where defense is, key for him, because that's what he got drafted. That's what he got in the NBA for, and that's what he does very well. So if you can snag him from the Sixers, you definitely better your chances as being a better team going into next season, and, playing a lot better than what you played this past season, because what you did this past season was just an utter failure, and the Lakers fans really have nothing to talk about or cheer about. I mean, honestly, when the Lakers fans look like, when the Lakers, not the fans, but when the Lakers organization looks like the worst team in the NBA, you have a problem. We all have a problem in the NBA world, because that should never be the worst team or the worst looking team in the NBA. And they look like the worst team in the NBA last year. They couldn't get nothing going. They were like 10, 15 games under 500, playing less than 500 basketball, not playing defense. Everybody's pointing fingers. Everybody's tired of one another. It was a waste of a season. You fired a head coach that I thought was a pretty good one. Frank Vogel was good with the Indiana Pacers back in the day. He was good with the Lakers, actually. The Lakers won a championship with Frank Vogel as the coach. So, I mean, I don't really understand, why, you let go of a coach like that. I really don't get it. But I mean, whatever the case may be, you hope that Darvin Ham turns into a Frank Vogel or better, because honestly, he's not even as good as a Frank Vogel. He's not even as good as any NBA coach in the league, because he doesn't have any experience as a head coach. And I don't care if you've been an assistant coach, a coordinator, a play caller. I don't care what your title is on a sports team. But if you've never been a head coach of a sports team before, it makes a hell of a difference, because all the decisions go through you, and you're the last one to sit there and make the calls in regards to what goes on and how things transpire. And if Darvin Ham is not good at that, we will see. It'll be exploited. It will be out in the open. But at the same time, it's not going to help the Lakers' cause, because they're trying to win. And if you're trying to win, you can't hold somebody's hand or have somebody that needs their hand held to try to figure out how to make things better. So hopefully Darvin Ham does good. I hope he does good. I hope he doesn't, make a mockery out of himself or anything like that, or get swallowed by the media or anything like that. But, a lot goes into the Lakers this upcoming season, and they need all the pieces they can get. So like I said, if you can get a Matisse Thybulle, if you can get another player here and there to build, and you got to give away some of your players to do it, oh well. It's not like you got a good team or had a good team this year. So, you do what you got to do. And, honestly, even if you're not a Lakers fan out there, even if you don't pull for the Lakers, if you don't like the Lakers or whatever, they, in your mind, the NBA world still believes the Lakers should be a better team than what they were last year. If you're an NBA fan, you definitely know in your mind the Lakers should be a lot better than the product they put out last year. And going into this next season, it better look a hell of a lot better, or I promise you, things are going to get a hell of a lot worse for this team. Because then if they don't make the play-in tournament hypothetically next year, because their defense is so poor and they're not going out getting pieces that they can to help the team to be better, LeBron might leave. I think AD might be gone. Russell Westbrook will definitely probably be gone. So it's like, what will the roster look like if this next season isn't a success in regards to at least, making the play-in tournament? At this point, we can't even ask the Lakers, or you can't even tell the Lakers, hey, you need this championship or bust. At this point, the Lakers are not even at that. They're not even at that stage. So you can't say championship or bust because they're not even playoff or play-in tournament worthy. So right now it's play-in tournament or bust for the Lakers, honestly. So, I mean, like I said, if they got a chance to get Thibault, a couple other pieces, you go after it. You don't hesitate, because this team ain't going nowhere no time soon with the roster they have. And Anthony Davis is not reliable to me. I never trusted him in New Orleans. He's never been a favorite player of mine. He's not even a top player of mine. I mean, I'll put him in the top 10 or 15 because technically when he's healthy, he belongs there, but he's not in my top 5 or anything like that. I never believed in Anthony Davis. He has his moments. He plays good at times, and he's very, very unreliable, very injury prone, and he doesn't have that dominant mentality for me. I like a big man with more of a dominant mentality. And to me, he just doesn't have it. I mean, so you'll see dominance at times, but then you'll see him get injured, and then the time he is on the floor, he doesn't play dominant. So it's like, maybe the Lakers just feel like they made a mistake, with this guy. But we'll see what happens there. But not to get too far off the subject, I don't know what pieces they're going to have to give up. Maybe a draft pick or 2, along with maybe Reeves or Austin Reeves, or maybe even I wouldn't think they would give up Malik Monk or anything like that. But probably like a Austin Reeves, or maybe a Stanley Johnson or somebody like that. Maybe. But whatever they need to do to get better, that's what they need to do, and that's the only way they need to look at it. But hey, that's my take on everything. Leave any comments in the comment section. Check out my other videos if you haven't. And hey, Khaliis out.